Hello, all you football fans. Well, it's almost Super Bowl time. I realize Mizzou isn't a professional team, but it happened to be the only football wear that I had. So, at any rate, we're going to throw a little football tailgate Super Bowl party today. And we're going to start off the show with some creamy buffalo chicken dip. And one of my favorite ingredients, cream cheese, starts off the dish. So I'm just going to mix that up a little bit with the mixer. Okay, and to that I'm going to add a half a cup of ranch salad dressing. And it calls for a half a cup of hot sauce. I'm probably not going to put that much hot sauce in here. I realize it's supposed to be buffalo chicken, but my family isn't much on really spicy stuff, so I'm going to cut that down some. We want it to have some flavor, but I don't want it to burn my socks off either. Okay, and then we're going to add about a cup of chicken. The recipe called for canned chicken. However, I didn't think that sounded very good, so I just am using some rotisserie chicken from the grocery store. You can use the canned or fry up some chicken breasts or whatever you prefer, but as I said, I didn't think that sounded just the best, so improvising here a bit. I cut this recipe in half. It made a very large quantity, so not expecting to have that big of a crowd, so I cut it in half. So, and I think this pan's a little bit too big, so I'm going to get a little bit smaller container to bake this in. Okay, got a little smaller dish here. I think this will work out fine. Okay, then we're going to top that with some cheddar cheese. Okay, then this goes in the oven for about 20 minutes at 350 degrees. Okay, we're ready for recipe number 2, and again, we've got cream cheese in the bowl. Love cream cheese. We're going to make just a regular cheese ball this time, though. So again, I'm just going to beat up my cheese here a little bit. This is a super simple recipe. It's got 3 ingredients. I'm going to add about 2.5 ounces of dried beef, and I've just cut that into small pieces. And 3 green onions. Oops, made a mess there. I'm going to set this in the refrigerator to firm up a little bit, and then I think we can form this into the shape of a football for our Super Bowl party. Our buffalo chicken dip is done, and it smells lovely. It's bubbly and hot, so we'll put that back here to cool and move on with our next recipe. Okay, our next dish is going to be a chicken taco cup, and we're going to use wonton wrappers to form the cups. So we're going to bake these for just a few minutes to give them a little shape and before we fill them with our taco mixture. So I'm going to pop these in the oven for 5 minutes or so, and then we'll get our chicken going on the stove. For the filling for our taco cups, I am going to use a bit of rotisserie chicken. The recipe called for to use real chicken breasts, and cook them with the taco seasoning. But I had this, and I think it'll work just fine, so I'm just going to heat a little bit of oil in the skillet, throw our chicken and our seasoning mix in there and heat that through, and I think it's going to work just fine, and then we won't have to fool with the raw chicken business. So I'll get this on the stove and get this stirred up, and we'll assemble our cups. Okay, I've got our chicken mixture off of the stove, and to that we're going to add a cup of salsa. and some chopped onion. And then I'm going to add a cup of cheese. I know y'all will be shocked to see that I'm measuring the cheese. Usually just pour that in, you know, you can't have too much cheese. Okay, now we're going to spoon this into our wontons that we baked earlier. Okay, now we're going to put those back into the oven and for 5 or 10 more minutes, just until they're heated through. You know, all the meat and everything's cooked in here, so all you're really doing is heating them up. So we'll pop them back in the oven for a few minutes and on to the next recipe. Okay, we're back with another recipe. This is going to be a bit of a departure from the Super Bowl normal food fare, I'm thinking, but this will be something for maybe your vegetarian friends or somebody who's a little more health conscious. We're going to make a leek tart. And it starts with the crust of just some crescent roll dough, or you can use pizza dough. So we're going to start off by putting this in the oven to get it browned up just a bit. And then we are going to cut a leek and slice it, and we're going to saute it in garlic, with garlic and some olive oil. I'm not very familiar with leeks. This recipe came recommended by our producer Martina. She said it's delish, so we're going to try it. This will be my first experience working with this vegetable, I think. So bear with us here as we prepare a leek tart. Okay, obviously cut that part off, and she says she didn't use the green part either, so I'm just going to lop that off. And how did you just thinly slice?
Thinly slice.
Thinly slice. Okay. I mean, they're kind of like a giant green onion, is what it reminds me of. And I love green onions, so this ought to be pretty tasty. They're kind of stocky, kind of stiff to cut through, but maybe not as pungent as a green onion. Okay, we've moved over to the stove to saute our leeks, and I've got a couple of tablespoons of olive oil in the skillet, and we've kind of separated these leeks into rings. So we're gonna those right in here into the skillet. Turn that down just a bit. Okay, our leeks have cooked down a bit, and we are going to add now 3 cloves of garlic. I've got them all 3 in the garlic press here. So. We've turned the heat down a bit on the stove so as not to burn the garlic. It smells really good. Okay, we think these are about done, so I'm going to set these off of the heat, and we'll get our crust back over here and finish it up. Okay, we've got our crust that we pre-baked a little bit here, and on top of that, this is 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard and a tablespoon of water. I'm just going to spread this over the crust to make a little sauce on there. And obviously this isn't a whole lot, so it's not going to be a whole goopy mess underneath there. Okay, now we're going to put our sauteed leeks and garlic on top. Very springy looking. Pretty green. Okay, now we're going to top this with a cup of Swiss cheese, or however much you want to put on there. And some toasted almonds. Okay, we'll get this back into the oven for a few minutes to melt up our cheese with our leeks. Okay, we're back to finish up with a sweet treat for our Super Bowl party. And we're going to make some Super Bowl cookies. So starting out here with a half a cup of butter or Crisco sticks, whatever you like to use. I'm using Crisco sticks, that's my shortening of choice for cookies. And we have a cup of regular sugar and a cup of brown sugar. And we need 2 teaspoons of baking soda. A teaspoon of vanilla. And a teaspoon of light corn syrup. These cookies could possibly be called healthy, depending on your point of view. A cup and a half of peanut butter. Three and a half to 4 cups of oats. And 3 eggs. So we're just going to get our mixer going here. Okay, to finish up our recipe, we're going to add some chocolate chips and some M&Ms. If you can find these in your team colors, that would be a really cute idea. These are kind of red and white. You know, I thought, well, maybe Chiefs colors, but it's kind of difficult to find those in, you know, blue and white or whatever your favorite team might be. Black and gold, that'd be really cool. But whatever kind, or just the multicolored ones, they'll be fine too. Just to add some chocolate to this. Okay, we'll pop these into the oven, 350 for 10 to 12 minutes. If you want your cookies to have a little bit of extra color, you could press a few M&Ms on the top if you've got those team colored M&Ms like I was talking about. We're just going to go with this for now though. We'll be right back. Okay, we're trying to finalize here our little cheese ball football. Trying to make some laces here with the cheese. Okay, well, you might have to use your imagination a little bit, but you get the general idea. They're just going to eat it anyway, right? Well, I think that finishes up all of our Super Bowl treats today. We've got a buffalo chicken dip here. Just eat that with some Tostitos. And we've got our chicken taco cups here. I've dolloped them with a little sour cream and some lettuce. And our leek tart here. Isn't that pretty? It turned out really good. And our little chipped beef cheese ball that we shaped like a football. And of course our Super Bowl cookies. So I hope you've enjoyed these recipes and enjoy your own Super Bowl or tailgate party. Thanks for joining us, and I'll see you around the valley.